The scene in Nashville right now is not for the Titans. It's not for the NHL team, whoever they are. It's not even for a country music concert or festival. It's for the... It can't be. That didn't really happen. Did I really see what I... College football's that awesome. Vanderbilt, 40. Number one, Alabama, not 62, not 55, 35. Vandy beats Bama. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's get to this one. Was this on my radar? Well, of course, I knew the game was being played, but no, this was not a selection for me in the second window of TV games on this fine college football Saturday. But it quickly became that in the fourth quarter. Vanderbilt had not defeated Alabama since 1984, had not won against the Tide in Nashville since 1977. And for a long time, they played every year. Up until the division format in 1992, they played every year. And they play, of course, since then on a rotational basis. So they had lost, I don't know what the number was. I saw it at one point, 25 or 30 consecutive games to Bama. Oh, let the facts roll on this one. Bama had lost 3 games as the number one team in the country against non-ranked opponents. Georgia Tech 1962, Mississippi State 1980. I remember that one, and I certainly remember 2021 at Texas A&M. But add Vandy to the list. Vandy had never defeated a number one team in the country. Vandy had never defeated a top 5 team in the country. 0-60 before tonight. Vandy, they were ready for this one. Bama may not have been. I don't want to in any way say that Bama lost this game because they looked past Vandy. If they look past Vandy, shame on them, as they say. Their fault. Shouldn't have done it. Vandy has shown us, hey, they are an improved football team. They beat Virginia Tech on opening weekend as a 2-touchdown dog. And they took Missouri to overtime. Now, those two teams, nowhere close to Bama, nowhere close to number one. But we know what Vanderbilt football is and what it's been. They lost all their games in the SEC last year. They were 2-10. They didn't even come close to beating anyone any good. They lost to a lot of bad football teams by 15 or 20 points. Vandy is awful. Vandy was awful. But they still lost to Georgia State this year. The same team that beat Bama tonight lost to Georgia State. And they win this one. Historic, phenomenal. What the scene. Did you see the quarterback, Diego Pavia, the transfer quarterback, after the game? They were making comparisons during the fourth quarter between Pavia and Johnny Manziel. I don't know if that's because Johnny Manziel's a hero to Pavia. Didn't get the background on that, but they were making all sorts of comparisons. And of course, Johnny Manziel pulled off the upset in Tuscaloosa in 2012. Wow. Yeah, I started rolling on this game and caught the opening drive where Vanderbilt just marched down the field, scored a touchdown. Then they had a pick 6 where there was an excellent pass breakup by the defensive back that popped the ball up in the air, and the Vandy other defensive back picked it off the carom to make it 14-0. I don't believe that Bama ever led in this game. Vandy went up 13-0, missed the PAT. They were up 20-7. Bama got to within 23-21. They got to within 30-28. This is not an illegitimate win. Vandy is a legitimately decent football team. Can they do this every week? Will they do this later in the season against whoever they've got in their schedule? We'll throw it up right now because I failed to look at the Vandy schedule coming up. But they have lost 2 football games, so they must be either 3-2 or 4-2 right now. I believe 3-2. So let's not get them in college football playoff contention quite yet. But no longer can anyone in the SEC this season say, we're playing Vandy next week. 50-0, we're done. We're going to roll through them and look over them and pass them to the next game. You can't do that anymore. Virginia Tech, Missouri, Bama, this is too much of a trend. Vandy is legitimate. Clark Lee, my hat's off to you, sir, because yes, I have made fun of this statement on every occasion that I've had the opportunity. Clark Lee at SEC Football Media Days, not this past offseason, but the previous offseason, said, our goal is to become the greatest football program in America. I don't believe that Clark Lee meant that as just a football program, but as a combination of academics, football, society, building and molding young men. I think that was the statement, but verbatim, it was, our goal is to be the greatest football program in America. Well, you know what? On this night, Vanderbilt might just be the greatest football program in America. Wow. And Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old for Bama, tried to put this team on his back in the final few minutes and will this team to a win. He had the remarkable catch down the sideline when they were down 40-28. Then, on what could have been one of the stupidest play calls I've ever heard of and seen, turned out for Bama, because on 4th and goal at the 2-yard line, they ran a reverse play, and Ryan Williams had 2 defenders chasing him, running him about 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but he is so fast and so athletic, he still beat them into the pylon to make Kalen DeBoer look okay, and Bama got to within 40-35. So there was still about 2:45 left in the game, and Bama's defense, you would have figured, they'll put their foot down and say, enough is enough, and Vandy's going to be somewhat conservative here and white-knuckle it, and they're going to blow this game. But I somehow didn't feel that. That's not what I felt. Now, my feelings mean nothing, as do yours, but that's how I felt. No, Vandy's going to do this. They are going to pull this off. And yes, they didn't play scared. They went after it. They called a rollout on 2nd and 12 in which Pavia hit the fullback for a huge first down play for about 15 to 20 yards. And then Vandy ran off tackle and just ran the ball down Bama's throats. The same Bama defense that practically shut out Georgia in the first half last week, but also the same Bama defense that got obliterated by Carson Beck and company in the second half last week. So maybe some serious issues about this Bama defense. Wow, they got taken to the woodshed by Vandy's offense. Pavia in the second half, I believe, I don't have the numbers here, something like 11 of 12 through the air in the second half. What a game. What a game. What a sight. Again, just phenomenal to watch. I may go back and just kind of whip through the game and take it all in because I just saw the fourth quarter. And Vandy wins. Vandy. Let's have Vandy do something this season. But even if they don't, they have this one night where Vanderbilt's on top of it. You cannot put together a matchup in college football in the Power 5 of the gold standard versus the poverty-stricken program that epitomizes that more than Bama versus Vandy. This was beautiful. Nothing against Kalen DeBoer, nothing against the Tide, but this is college football at its best. 23-point dog, Vandy, which actually, I said this week, that actually points to Vandy's improvement, that they were only a 23-point dog against Bama, where they are typically a 40 or 45-point dog. They shouldn't have been the underdog. They won this game and pulled it off as a double-digit dog again. Wow. Take it in, soak it in. If you didn't see it, check it out. Vandy beats Bama 40-35. Please like and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football.